Good morning, Boker Tov. Welcome back to 10 Minutes of Meaning. With tremendous gratitude to our generous series sponsor, Shmuel and Esther Shayos, the Nishmas, his father, Yaakov Yudim and Gedalia, and his sister, Shlema, of her mother, Batsheva, Bas, Bluma, Rivka. Thank you so much to the Shayos. Please help yourself. Coffee, pastry, slushy. Sit and stay to learn, to daven, take advantage here at Boker Tov Synagogue. We're learning Iggeres HaRamban, the Ramban's letter to his son, really the Ramban's letter to each and every one of us. The Ramban has been helping us become a better and better version of ourselves, conditioning ourselves to never get angry, to work on ourselves, to always avoid anger. Tisnaheg tamid. Tisnaheg tamid. Reflexively, we can condition, we can cultivate, we can change ourselves. Ledaber benacha, speak peacefully and calmly. Instead of getting angry, stay humble and modest. Look around the world and realize not everyone, not everything needs to fall in line with you and your vision and your micromanaging and your power and your ego. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's in charge. Surrender, submit, go with the flow. In Israel, in Hebrew, there's a word zorem. Eyal, you know the word zorem to describe somebody? I love that word. To be zorem, to go with the flow. Zorem is like flow. Just go with the flow. Just go with the flow. So Ramban's telling his son, just go with the flow. Yes, try to affect change, be a leader, transform the world, influence positively. But afterwards, in the end of the day, let go and let God. Submit and surrender. Be a zorem. Go with the flow. Just go with the flow. And when a person does that, when a person lives that way, when a person understands it's his world, not ours. We work for God. He doesn't work for us. When a person thinks, then you'll be able to be filled with awe. You'll live and look around at this world and you'll say, wow, what a world. Hashem is amazing. His world is amazing. And you're living not in black and white. You're living in vivid color. And it'll cause a person to guard themselves from making mistakes, indiscretions, miscalculations, poor judgment, because you live with the sense of, oh, there's a God, it's His world, I work for Him, let's make it better, let's redeem it, let's light it on fire. So now I'm not going to be distracted. You know, lahavdil, an athlete who's training for the Olympics, someone in college sports who wants to go pro. So their friends are going out for drinks. Their friends say, come meet us behind the bleachers. We got some good stuff that we bought on the street. We're going to try it. So that person who's trying out for the Olympics, the person who wants to turn pro says, are you out of your mind? I am single-mindedly focused. There's nothing I would put in my body that's going to compromise me from achieving my goals. I have a mission. I have a purpose. When Farley was pro, what number, Farley? 736. 736. I don't know why not 735, but 736, that's a lot higher than I was. So, than I'll ever be. So you'd never put anything in your body that's going to somehow detract or distract you from climbing the ranks and the ladder and getting all the way to number one. So when a person lives with a sense of mission and purpose, when you know what you're trying to achieve, then it protects us, says the Ramban, tishamer min hachet. Other people are vulnerable. I have nothing to live for. I don't know. I have no purpose. Sure, I'll try that. Yeah, let's experiment with this. Yeah, I'll go to that event, that party, that thing. Sure, people make mistakes and they have poor judgment and they go off course because they don't know what they're living for. There's no sense of mission or purpose. But when a person knows these are my goals and I want to achieve them and I'm relentlessly pursuing them, then even when they are offered or tempted, they say, not for me, no thanks. I would never go near that. I'd never touch that. I'd never show up there. And that's what Ramban is telling his son. Tira mi borecha. When you think about all these things, when you live in that world with this mindset, when you realize we're here for a mission and a purpose, when we work for Him, He doesn't work for us, tishamir min hachet. That alone will protect us. Not like we normally think it protects us, because now we have fear. I don't want to get punished. I don't want lightning to strike. I don't want God to take away something I want. It's not out of fear. It's out of purpose. Meaning, when the college kid who wants to turn pro, when the athlete is trying to climb higher and do better, when the person trying to make the Olympics turns down the drugs or the alcohol, doesn't go to the party, goes to sleep early, they don't consider those things a punishment that they're being denied or deprived. That's the cost of achieving those goals. Tishamer min hachet. We keep our eye on the ball. We keep our eye on the prize. We know who we want to be and what we want to achieve, and we're not tempted. The kasher tasnei b'midas ha'anava, says the Ramban. And then when a person, instead of with anger, instead of giving into temptation or distraction, a person lives with humility and modesty. It's His world, not ours. We work for Him. He doesn't work for us. Lisboshesh mikol adam. We're humble in front of all people. Kol adam, a 3-year-old, a child, people who are not as smart, not as accomplished, not as wealthy, not as handsome, not as athletic, not as artistic, and yet even in front of them, Liz Boshesh, we're humble. There's something to learn. We're able to live with a healthy dose of modesty and shame. And we have fear or awe from such people, from Hashem, and from His chait. We don't want to make mistakes. So then, then we qualify for godliness, for divine inspiration, for divine wisdom. V'yata b'ni, where we last left off. The Ramban says to his son, last week we spoke about b'ni. B'ni, why does he invoke the word b'ni? Again, Shema b'ni, he began the letter Shema b'ni Musar Avicha, and now he turns back to the word b'ni. And now, my son, I'm not coming as an outsider. I'm not coming to criticize you or condemn you. I'm not coming to catch you. B'ni, you're my son. I love you. I love you. I'm all about you. I'm all about you. V'yata b'ni da ure'eh. Know and see. Somebody who's arrogant in their heart over others. Such a person is rebelling against God. And we last left off with a question. Somebody's arrogant. What does that have to do with God? If they're arrogant against man, if in a room they think they're smarter, richer, better, what does that have to do with God? They could still shuckle, have a long Shemona Esrei. They could still be makbid on the best hachsherim and kashrus. They can still be somebody who learns a lot during the day. What does that have to do with their posture towards other people? Why is that morid b'malchus shamayim? But before we even get to that, why did the Ramban use two words, da ure'eh? Know and see. Yediyah and re'iyah. These are two separate qualities. Yediyah is knowledge. Where is knowledge? In the head. There's all kinds of things we know. Don't eat that. Don't eat that late at night. Don't say that. Don't look at that. Don't do that. All kinds of things we know up here, but they never filter down to here. The farthest distance between any two things on earth is the distance between our head and our heart. Hasach ben tefillah betefillah. You can't speak between your arm tefillin and your head tefillin, your heart tefillin and your head tefillin. No interruption, no pause. There has to be high-speed connection between the head and the heart. What we know has to filter down into what we do and who we are. So yediyah is not enough. It's not enough to know. We've read the data. We've seen the research. We know don't eat that. Don't live like that. Don't deprive yourself of that sleep. We know it's yediyah. We know it up here. But it's not enough to be yediyah. It's got to be da, know, ure'eh, and also see. So where does re'eh? I would have thought know and do. Why does the Ramban say no, da, no, ure'eh? If I were writing it, nobody would read it. But if I were writing it, I would say no, da, and do. Not da, ure'eh, and see. Where does the word re'eh come in? So I want to suggest that maybe it comes in based on what Chazal tell us. Chazal tell us who's a chacham. So in Pirkei Avos, one Mishnah says a chacham is somebody who's lomed mikol adam. Someone who learns from many people is a chacham. But Chazal elsewhere tell us, ezu chacham haroa es hanolad. Somebody who sees what will be born from what they do. Many people live in the here and now. Whatever will make me happy, whatever brings me pleasure, whatever for the right now. But a chacham, a wise person, a smart person, is roa es hanolad. They see the future. Not because they could pick the Super Bowl winner or lottery numbers, but they see the future means they know what will be nolad, what will be born from what they're conceiving in their actions and their choices today. Rav Simcha Zissel Ziv, the Alter of Kelm, in his Chachma Umusar, has an essay called Ma Bein Tzaddik LaRasha. What is the difference between a righteous person and a non-righteous person? And he writes, HaHefresh me bein Tzaddik LaRasha, hu koach hatziur, the capacity for imagination. Imagination. Kimilo yidrosh tova masmedes v'kulo tova, koach hatziur chaser LaRasha. V'lo chisar an amuna kisvaras ha'olam, v'yesh lan abir hazeh kamochai. And then he goes on and elaborates. He says the Russia has no imagination. The Russia has no vision. The Russia has no picture about the future. The Russia just says, I want to eat this. I want to drink this. I want to look at this. I want to go there. I want to do this. I want to press this button. The Russia just right now, there's no imagination. There's no vision. There's no picture. There's nothing about the future. The entire difference between the tzaddik and the Russia is that capacity. And the Alter connects this to haroa es hanolad. That's why Chazal emphasize we need to reinforce that capacity to imagine, to see, to picture, to dream. It's a sefer called Yama Musar of Mordechai Yosef Sibuni, and he writes there, similarly, a chacham is haroa es hanolad. It doesn't say a chacham is hachoshev benolad, who thinks about the future, or hamedaber es hanolad, who talks about the future. Right? The verb that Chazal use is not to think about, to talk about. They specifically say haroa, to picture, to see the Nolad. Why? He quotes the Vilna Gaon. We'll end with this. The Vilna Gaon says, when you take a person from their house to their grave, and they're engaging all their senses, and you want to know what it's going to be like. What is it going to be like in the afterlife? When we meet our Maker, when we face our Creator, what will it be like? The Vilna Gaon the Gra said the following. You're going to sit on a couch. Maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu will provide a bucket of popcorn and a big Diet Coke, Diet Peach Snapple. You're going to sit on the couch, a big theater, huge screen. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to say, we're going to press play. We're going to watch your life together. Not just the public parts that everybody gets to see. We're going to watch your whole life together. When no one's there, when no one's around. The history, even the incognito history. We're watching it all. We're seeing it all. We're reliving it all. And then you don't mind. I'm going to just sit next to you on the couch while we watch this together. What everyone saw, what no one saw when you were together, when you were alone, what you think you erased, what you tried to delete, the cookies, the cachet, the whole thing. We're watching it all. We're going to review it all. That's Gehenna, says the Gra. You don't need a devil and a pitchfork and a fiery furnace. That's Gehenna. The thought of Hashem sitting by our side. And then Hashem says, the Gra says even more. He says, you know what? Let's get your parents in the theater. Let's get your grandpa, your Bubby and Zaidi. They're going to sit in the theater too. Yeah, we're going to bring your wife. We're going to bring your kids. We're all going to sit. Packed theater. Endless seating. We're going to watch it together. What do you think? That's Gehenna. That's Gehenna. Now, the good news is we have editing power on the movie. It's called tshuva. In our lifetime, we can edit the movie out. So maybe what will be left, we'll say, yeah, bring everybody. Let's watch this together. I'm proud of it. But we got to edit before we get there. That's the Gra's understanding, what the Gra would teach about what Gehenna is. So says the Yama Musar, that's how Roa es hanolad. You want to make good decisions today? Just when you're faced with, should I watch that? Should I push that? Should I say that? Should I eat that? Should I go there? Be Roa, picture the theater. Picture the movie. Picture who's sitting in the seats. Picture Hashem sitting right next to you. Roa, vision. It's vision. So maybe that's why the Ramban says, da ure'eh. No, but it's not enough to know, because we all know. It's not enough to know. Da no ure'eh. Picture. Picture the consequence. Picture the outcome. Picture what will be born of what you're doing right now. Just picture it. Just picture it. Picture. You could eat that today and tomorrow and the next day, and maybe right now you'll be okay. You're young. You have a quick metabolism. But picture what you're going to look like and what your lab report will say later on. Right now, you think you can live on 4 or 5 hours of sleep. But look at all the research that shows if you're sleeping that little, you're basically guaranteeing yourself dementia or Alzheimer's later in life. So you want to live with so little sleep right now? Picture that future. Picture not recognizing your own family member. Roa es hanolad. And that's why the Ramban says, da, know, but not enough to know. Da, ure'eh. Picture. We'll make the right decisions today if we're picturing and we have a vision for our future. We'll pick up next time with that question still. Why is being arrogant in this world morid b'malchus in the next? May we hear besoros tovos, Yeshuas v'nechamos.